What's up, Math 1? This is Mr. Bainey, and this lesson is 8.1 Two-Way Frequency Tables. Our essential question is, how can categorical data for two categories be summarized? So we have two different types of data that we deal with, and that is quantitative data and categorical data. Quantitative data is when the data that we collect are numbers. So the data that we collect are numbers. Okay, quantitative kind of looks like the word quantity. Categorical data is when our data is not expressed in numbers. So things like if I asked you what your favorite movie was, you would not be giving me numbers as answers, or most of you wouldn't. So I'm not going to do this whole explore here except for part A, and you can start to think about what types of data each of these four things would fall under. So temperature, if I ask you what the temperature was or is in the future, you're going to give me numbers. So this is quantitative data. Weight, if I asked for anybody's weight, if I did a survey, something like that, we're going to be getting quantitative type of data. Height, same thing, quantitative. And color is going to be a categorical type of data. The word frequency is going to be used here because we are going to be making frequency tables. And in part C, it defines it for you. Frequency is just how often something happens. And so if you're looking at this table in part C, if I ask you what's the frequency of students that take the bus to school, then you're just going to count how many times they responded bus. So it looks like 8 times, or it tells you right here in the table. So 8 times, because I can count 8 times that bus is listed here. It looks like whoever did this survey looks like they just wrote down each response from each student. On your turn on page 349, one thing that you'll be expected to do in this lesson is to know how to look at a two-way frequency table, answer questions about it, and also fill it out. So number 5, Antonio surveyed 60 of his classmates about their participation in school activities and whether they have a part-time job. So the results are shown in the two-way frequency table below. So there's two things that we're measuring here. We're measuring, does the student have a job, and does the student participate in school activities? So we call it a two-way frequency table because we're looking at two different things. So if I'm looking at, for example, the number 3 here, what does that mean? It means that if I go to the beginning of the row, it means no, the student doesn't, these students don't have a job, and they participate in clubs only for school activities. So that's what the 3 means. If I ask you something like, how many students have a job and they participate in both types of school activities? So if they have a job and they participate in both school activities, that would be the 16 students that are right here. Okay, so be able to answer those types of questions. Now, what's not filled in this table are the totals. So we need to add up the totals of each column and then the totals of each row going across. And then the grand total goes right here on the bottom right. So it already tells us right here at the beginning of the problem that Antonio surveyed 60 of his classmates. So 60 I'm going to put down at the bottom. The number of students that participate in clubs only is 15 because I do 12 plus 3. 13 plus 5 is 18. 16 plus 5 is 21. And 4 plus 2 is 6. So those are the totals that participate in just the activities without worrying about if they have a job or not. Our row totals, all students that have a job, I add those together and I'm going to get 20, 30, 40, 45. And those that don't have a job, it adds up to 15. And what we're hoping for is that when I take 45 plus 15, that equals my grand total. And when I add 15 plus 18 plus 21 plus 6, that gives me my total of 60. Okay, which it does. Okay, if you'd like to go ahead and pause it and try number 6 before you see the solution. I'm not going to explain this. I'm just going to go and write down some of the answers. So we got 100 students total, as explained in the problem. 74, 26 here. That's 77 and 23. Okay, so the next part is being able to read two-way frequency tables. And now we're going to have to fill out some of the numbers that aren't the totals. And we're going to go straight to the your turns, the next pair of your turns there. And let's look at completing number 8, and then go ahead and pause it after that's done so you can try number 9. So I know that from the problem that 100 students were asked what fruit they chose at lunch. So we have 100 right here, which means I'm going to have 51 total boys and 49 total girls. I know that 27 total chose a pear for lunch. That's girls and boys. And then 27 girls and boys also chose a banana for lunch. So we're going to do some simple subtraction here and try to figure out what these other numbers are. So I got 49 total girls. 17 of those 49 girls chose a pear. 11 of those 49 girls chose a banana. So when I subtract, I am going to be getting, it looks like 21. And then 25 boys chose an apple. So that's going to give me 46 total. And that's it for this table. Number 9, just go ahead and fill this out. Got 101 here. And females that prefer a chalkboard for teaching is 43. Okay, notice that the 43, the way I did it was I subtracted 56 from 99 to get that, but remember you could also use this information as well. So there's so many different ways to fill in these tables and different ways to look at these numbers. And it looks like that's going to be it for this lesson. It's a fairly short lesson, but it is critical in understanding lesson 8.2. So hope this was helpful. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.